Hey, what is going on, guys? Ruder here, coming back at you with another batch tutorial. Alright, let's get the Windows command line fired up here, along with Notepad++, because we are going to be creating a script in this video, and, let's get to work. Now, in the last video, we were taking a look at function arguments, and even before that, we were taking a look at just regular functions. So, this is kind of like a long, pretty much a mini-series on a lot of things you can do with functions, and one of the things that I was saying with functions that you can do anyway with is returning values back to the function that you had ran it with previously, or it's like being able to manipulate a variable before before the function ends, or almost like immediately once the function ends. So we can't really do this in batch. The call function, the call command, the call protocol, whatever you'd like to call it, really doesn't support being able to return a variable like some other programming languages would, like Python or C++. If you guys haven't seen my Python tutorial series, I definitely recommend you check that out. And yeah, so in this video, we're going to be taking a look at sort of like a small, almost like a classic workaround for that sort of setup. So let's get a script going, though. I'm going to go ahead and save mine as script.bat. Go ahead and overwrite anything that's there, and we'll use the add echo off as usual. We'll go to our main function. We'll create our main function. And now we'll create a new function. And we'll call it specifically that, new function. And we'll go to end of file. Okay, now in our main function, what I'm going to do is echo out. This is the main function. And what we can do is we can echo the value of variable. Now, variable doesn't exist yet. All it's going to do is actually just display nothing. But for now, that's kind of what we want it to do. So if I switch back over to my command line and I run this script, this is the main function, and echo is off. Now, the reason it's doing this is because variable is absolutely nothing, so remember, echo is off because we set it to be off right up here, and when you were to run echo without any parameters, it'll tell you the status of echo, or whether or not we're displaying commands and that sort of thing. So if we were to run new function, we're going to want to call new function, and what new function will do, will echo out changing a variable. Okay. Now I can run that. Pretty simple. Echo is off, changing a variable. Okay. Now, variable has, let's say, that's what we're going to do. When our function has ended, or at least when we've reached the end of our function and we're all done with it, we can set up sort of like a return call procedure. So what we'll do is we'll set variable, which is this one down here. So you can see that we've used it before the function, and now that we're using it in the function. And we're going to set that to equal value. Okay. And I'm going to give a little bit of some white space here, and then I'll echo out the variable's new value is, and we can pass in variable. So now once we've called this new function that is specifically changing that variable that we were looking at earlier, we can look at it again, and it's already changed the value. So pretty simple. So if we run this, this is the main function, echo is off. So you can see variable is equal to nothing to begin with, but now when we're running the function, the variable's new value is value. So value is now what's there. And that's pretty much how we're going to be returning something inside our functions in batch. Now, a lot of you guys who are experienced programmers might kind of be thinking to yourself, wow, this kind of sucks. We're setting up a dedicated variable that we're going to want to be able to change and apply for that specific function. And you are exactly right. This is really, really ugly. So what we want to be able to do is actually return something that we pass into it. So we're going to pass in a new variable here. And I'll set it to be echo. Actually, we'll set a new variable first. Set new var to be dinner, because I'm kind of hungry for dinner right now. And we'll pass that in to our new function here. And remember, it is passing this in as a string. we're passing new var into our function new function, and it's going to be interpreting as a string, so we can't actually get the value of new var inside that function or anything. Because remember, the way we were getting the value of things, or at least accessing the variables inside of our function, was with the percent sign, the tilde, and then that 1 or whatever the number is according to the variable order that you pass to it. So when we're sending in new var, we can't actually get the value of it, where we can only modify it and actually display the string new var, which is a little useless. So actually, let's do that. Well, let's echo out whatever we've been passed here, and in our case, it's new var. So I'm going to remove this before we jump into the next one, though, and I'll switch back to our command line here. We'll run the script, and see, we've had a problem here because I actually typed in set. That's my own fault. Sorry, guys. And we'll run script one more time. Okay, this is the main function, and we get back to our other function. It says new function is changing a variable, and then it echoes the string new var. Now remember, new var is a string, but it's also the variable, at least the variable name of the variable that we're trying to manipulate. So we can only we can only modify this variable. We can't actually display what this is. If we tried to do that, it's going to freak out. If we tried to put the extra percent signs around it, it's not going to know how to interpret this. But what we can do, however, is go ahead and set this 1 to equal, how about lunch at this point? So when we echo out in our main function, the variable's value is at first new var is the name of our variable. So now we can run this. This is the main function. The variable's new value is at first, and then new var equals dinner. Oh, I'm sorry. We should not be using spaces when we are assigning anything, because Batch will actually interpret them to be other commands. So that's also another really obnoxious quirk to Batch. And I should have stressed that a lot more, that you should never ever have spaces inside of a script when you are assigning a variable. So we can go back here. I'll clear the screen so we look like we're at a blank slate. We'll run our script, and the new variable's value is at first dinner. Now when we change it inside of our function here, if we go ahead and echo this out now, the variable's value is now, and we can pass in new var. We run this, the variable's value is at first dinner, then we change it, and then the variable's value is now lunch, because our function has kind of returned the variable, even though it's not returned as us programmers are used to it. It's actually modifying that variable at the very last minute, and sort of like faking the idea of actually returning the variable. So this is kind of ugly. In fact, it's very ugly. Batch is not that grand when it comes to functions and being able to order your logic and information in a structured manner. But it's still possible with some really ugly workarounds that kind of like hack the language to do what we want it to do. So that's really all I can offer you guys now. We are passing in a variable to our function, and then we're actually modifying that variable inside the function. So it's still kind of a dedicated variable, but we can pass in anything. But remember, it will change that variable inside the other function. So it's pretty hectic, I know. But hey, thank you for bearing with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It'd be nice if you could like the video, maybe leave me a comment, maybe subscribe, I don't know, it's whatever you'd like to do. But thanks again, guys. I'll see you again. Bye.